And we're back once again, only on, it's Last Call. Last Call of the Alcohol, only on the LastCallPodcast.com. And joining me here once again when we talk pro wrestling, and even man is going to tell me what it is, what I should, see it beyond just what it is. And I need somebody who's going to tell me something I don't like to keep going to hear it because, well, wrestling media just doesn't like to say anything bad, it seems, on several people. I give you once again from Full Circle Radio, I give you wrestler, promoter, booker, and all-around thespian. I give you Joseph J. Alexander. So, JJ, let's start this shindig off with something which I'll probably like, you'll probably hate, but hey, that's how the world is, it seems. Femi won the King of the Ring tournament. That's right, no Brock Lesnar did not run in. There were no shenanigans. It was not overbooked. I was happy. Granted, we're still getting Brock versus Oba at SummerSlam, of course, in a Hell of a Cell match, but overall, this was the right decision to put Oba as the King of the Ring and actually start putting a rocket on this guy.
Too soon.
I know, but you get that. Yeah, it was something. Because right now, Raw is staler than 3-day-old pizza. So. Again, what would you have done? Because, again, if it was Jey Uso, I think people would have burned down Saudi Arabia. And not for political reasons.
No, people would have cheered. People would have cheered. Don't let the internet fool you. But it's just, the dude shouldn't have been in the tournament this year, is what I'm saying. Like, he's been on the main roster for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no reason, because they painted themselves into the corner by putting him against Brock 3 months into him being on the main roster, they don't know what to do with him. They tried the stupid Oba Femi challenge, which lasted 2 weeks, and realized shit, this isn't going to work. So they had to go back to the well with Brock sooner than they wanted. And now here we go. They put him in the King of the Ring, and the whole thing is the King of the Ring gets a title shot at SummerSlam. And then come Monday, they're like, yeah, fuck that. So what was the point in putting him in the tournament? What was the point? If he's you put the stock in for the past 3 years, the King of the Ring gets their title shot at SummerSlam. And now it's like, you just have him be like, oh, yeah, the title shot will be there eventually, so I don't care. No! You are selling tickets on a premise. And now it's just like, oh, well, yeah, nope. Fuck it. No. We're gonna do Brock versus Oba 3 because we knew they were gonna do it, but it's what I said was gonna happen. It's what I said was gonna happen back in January. Once they announced Mania in 27 was gonna be in Saudi, and it was a completely sold show, that the creative team was going to rest on their laurels for a fucking year. And we're seeing that.
Yeah.
It is so evident as each week passes that that's what they're doing. Because they're like, we know next show is fucking paid for. We ain't got to worry about it. And we know we're going to just put a bunch of stupid dream matches on that show. And it doesn't matter because Saudi's giving us freaking 3 oil tankers full of money for it. Doesn't matter to us. Because they don't realize that something has to happen the day after that show. And that's, oh shit, now you have to scurry to get back to work and you have a year of catch up to do. And that's when the dip is going to start.
Again, they needed to do something because you look at the roster, you look at the main event scene, and it's getting older and older and more broken down because a lot of these guys were back in the day when you ran, wrestled twice a week, 3 times a week, plus, house shows. It's catching up to Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Rey Mysterio. You have to start pushing somebody under the age of 35. I know it's tough, but you have to. So again, I was happy that they didn't go with Jey Uso, although we'll get to that later on because, well, as you said, lazy booking. Let's go to the other obvious queen of the ring. That is Iyo Sky. And they announced right away she's taking on Liv Morgan. So 2 things can be true. Mm-hmm. This is the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really more worried about Rhea Ripley than we're letting on because Rhea has disappeared. I guess she has a knee injury, and we're just doing Iyo versus Liv Morgan, which I like, but it's again they're just really dragging this thing on with the explosion of a Judgment Day, and it's again I have no problem with Iyo because I think it was the right choice. If you Liv just winning everything is there's no build, but again it's like okay, what are we doing with the rest of the female Judgment Day? We're just doing nothing. Like, it makes sense of it here because again, it just feels like we were starting something with Raquel. Now it's like, oh, screw that. We're putting on my back burner. We're doing something here with teasing Finn Balor and Roxanne Perez turning baby face. Nope, screw that. We're just. I don't know, JJ. It just seems like this Judgment Day thing is going to go on for the end of time. We might even get a new president before Judgment Day breaks up. Oh my God! I was joking, but I'm actually not worried about that happening.
It's just so ridiculous. It's another one. Liv shouldn't have been in this tournament. Like, there's no reason why the champion should be in the fucking tournament. Like, she's like, oh, so I'm gonna be a double champ. No. We're not doing that. Everyone knew we weren't doing that, and it's like I get it. You need to fill gaps because Stephanie Vaquera is hurt and Rhea is hurt. Still, this was your prime opportunity to try to get some other people over, and they just chose not to fucking do it. I have no problem with Iyo winning because, like I said, yeah, that's But the fact is, you just had Iyo beat Liv and then call her shot against Liv. It's like we literally just saw this match 10 seconds ago, and you're saying, guess what? It's going to happen again. And this is like I said, resting on their laurels. They're like, we'll see now for the next 5 weeks. She can just be like, look, I beat you once. I can do it again. That's so fucking lazy. That is so fucking lazy. And yeah, we're probably going to get it leading to Roxanne turning on Liv and costing her the title at SummerSlam. That's probably what we're getting. But they could have obviously done this shit where the whole time they could have literally, quite literally, had it be Iyo versus Raquel in the finals. Have Iyo overcome the adversity and win. And then you start the whole the bickering between Raquel and Liv being like, you couldn't get the job done and now I got to put up my belt, and Raquel having to prove her worth to Liv just for the swerve at SummerSlam where Roxanne is the one to fuck them. See how I just came up with that in 10 seconds?
I know, but we haven't gotten to the good part. The other one. Guess who sort of entered into the whole feud with this whole shindig? That's right, folks. Danhausen has now kissed Liv Morgan, and I get it. I am the guy who is yelling, "Get off the grass!" I've become the old geezer, probably. I understand that, but when you have now a guy who is literally he's a comedy bit. He's not a wrestler. He's a comedy bit. Now you're infecting him into a main feud. Oh, this is just again. It just feels like, hey, we need to sell merch. Like as somebody said, WWE's not a wrestling company anymore. It's an entertainment merchandise company, and
they've always have been.
Not to this extent. This is now getting overboard, where it's like, okay, Vince wouldn't have put, a guy who could not wrestle, who he could eventually just job out in a main event scene and have him, make big villains look stupid.
Listen, Vince, back in the day, I'm old enough to remember back when if you wanted a WWE merch catalog, you had to fucking mail order for it. You had to pay for the catalog. So, like, like Vince has always been that way. Like, it's now they're realizing now merch is a higher format because merch is an easier way of advertising because someone wears your merch, someone sees it in public, yada, yada, yada. And merch has taken the place of the revenue leader so that they don't have to do house shows as much anymore. Like people used to have to do house shows because that was the revenue leader was tickets for house shows. Now, house shows aren't that important because merch has taken that spot. That being said, and I've said it before, I like Danhausen. I think he's a funny guy, but he's an indie gimmick. He's an indie gimmick that, okay, they caught lightning in a bottle with the Knicks thing. I will give them that. But that's only going to go so far because you can't have this dude bat 1,000 and keep sending him out there to curse or uncurse major sports teams. And those sports teams go on to win the big one unless you want to reveal that, oh, all this is a work too. So it's like I said, the dude has a ceiling and a shelf life. They're two different things, but they coincide with Danhausen. It's, Ron Killing's doing the comedy bit. It's good in small inklings, and it was never effective of what was going on with the product. He would do dumb shit, but it would be in a backstage segment where it would be a one-off joke, or it would like lead to something completely pointless. Like when him and Goldust were tagging and he started costing them matches because he was too busy playing Pokemon Go during the match. And that made it so that they weren't in the contention for the tag titles. Like, it's lower level stuff that's never going to matter. But you're taking this stable that you have been featuring on your programming for years now, fucking years, that won't go away. And you're just like, oh, we're going to pump some new life into it by sticking this dude with them. And it's like, why? There's no point. There are less men in the Judgment Day now than there are women. Remember back when it was a bunch of guys and one woman?
Yep.
So you got a guy feuding with a women's stable. Like, it's just terrible. It's fucking terrible.
Again, it feels like just Judgment Day is there for merch.
It is.
And to keep Dominic busy because they don't want to really have him go anywhere.
Because Dom's cold. I told people he was going to go cold, and people didn't want to fucking believe me. They're just having him hold on to that belt until Triple Mania so he can drop it to Ray.
Or El Grande.
I don't think it's going to be El Grande. I think it's going to be Ray.
If that happens, I'll get pissed again. And
Ray's got to win that one more. Ray's got to win the AAA Grande Mega Championship once before he retires. And there's no better way to fucking write it than to have it be against his son.
Well, speaking of champions that either you love or hate, Sami Zayn won the WWE Universal Championship. And look, the wrestlers love it because he's one of those guys who's grinded for years. He isn't what, Vince would ever have as a world champion, probably. Is it the right call, though? I mean, again, it was in Saudi Arabia, which, hey, look, they love playing to the Saudi crowd. And again, I'm trying to understand because you were trying to do this heel turn. That was just sort of a goal. Like, all right, he's eventually going to snap. And now, I don't know, he wins the world title. So I guess he's now a good guy again. Or I'm just confused. I mean, again, I don't hate Sami winning it. It just feels like, well, we can't have Cody win because people get really pissed. And we can't have Gunther win because, all right, we understand that Gunther is Paul Levesque's love child from a different mother. We can't prove it, but we know it. So, hey, let's give it to Sami to shake things up and shock the world. And again, I just don't get the story. Make it make sense for me, JJ, because this feels like almost them going, all right, let's have every babyface win in Saudi so everybody can go home and be happy.
I mean, yeah, I never agree with having all of one side win on a show. Like I think that's just something that they didn't think about until afterwards. But and what's really funny? This is the second time that a Night of Champions has been all baby faces winning. I forget the year, but it was the year that Ric Flair won the Intercontinental title off Carlito. Night of Champions was all baby face victories as well. So it's just funny. It's the same show. But anyways, like I have admitted I was wrong. I was 10 months ahead on my prediction because this was exactly what I predicted would happen at Mania next year. uh, but it says a lot because of the fact that they were trying to do this Sammy heel turn and the crowd just wasn't buying it. Like some were, because some are sheep, and if you tell them you have to boo this person, they'll just do it right away. That's Carney 101. That's being that's being a promoter. It's like I was going off on Phil on Saturday when I was like, there's a reason we call them marks. Because it's true. And I'm sorry if you don't want to admit that. But it's the fucking truth. This was raised in the circus, and we tell you what to cheer and we tell you what to boo. And it's the gang mentality of if you get enough people that are of a mid IQ, they will listen to everything you say. So unfortunately, they didn't get as many people to boo Sammy as they wanted, because that was the whole thing was Sammy versus Trick is going to be a double turn and blah, 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 blah. And since then, Trick isn't really the babyface they wanted, because they still have him playing a heel, even though he's supposed to be a babyface, and he's done nothing to elevate that mid-card title since winning it. And then you've got Sammy, who they were trying to put on the trajectory, and I've done this comparison before. They were trying to give him the trajectory of Kevin Nash, of right after he lost the title to Bret Hart at Survivor Series, when he was still Diesel. When he came out the next night and cut that shoot promo into the camera, where he says, I'm not a corporate puppet that you decided to create, Vince, yada, yada. And then he said it. He was just like, he said, I'm not saying I'm not going to high five, but it better have a black glove on it, because then I know you're with me. Like that was like the birth of the tweener for all intents and purposes. People may not want to admit it, but it was. They wanted Sammy to run that story. But there were still too many people cheering him, to the fact where they had to put plants in the crowd with fake signs. But the SmackDown right before Saudi, the guy with the Sammy sucks sign, that was a plant. You cannot tell me that wasn't a plant. Because he was there, Sammy missed the cue of ripping up the sign, and then he was right back there with another fresh sign, and Sammy was able to rip it up on his way out. He was a plant. And they realized, shit, we can't, it's not going to work. He is too over. He got too over as a babyface during the Bloodline shit. Even when the Bloodline were heels, that's when the night he said he's not feeling so oozy, Sammy was solidified as a guy that no one wants to boo.
Yeah.
So they kind of had a come to Jesus moment where they realized, shit, no one's gonna buy, and that's why, they did all the fucked finish stuff with Sammy being the guest referee, where he's, he saves it for Cody, but then Cody's mad because he won. That makes any sense? It was very convoluted, but that was Cody flexing his creative control, because if he loses, he has to lose. What do you call it? He has to lose in a fucked way, or if yada yada. It was a bunch of bullshit. So we got it where he played that card too much, where Trips and the creative team sat back and what we've been painted into a fucking corner, because we've got this super over heel who we either pull the trigger on because the retirement tour stuff got thrown by the wayside when Ray got injured and we couldn't continue that story. We either have to pull the trigger on him and send the crowd in Saudi Arabia home mad, because he's the quintessential heel. We either do that, or we give it to this guy who we were possibly planning on doing this with at Mania next year. Because Cody you take out Cody's entrance and no one cares about him anymore. Cody is cold. I don't care what anyone fucking says. Cody is cold.
Here's option 3, which is starting to worry me here. Is TKO unable to make villains? And I get it. We're in a different era. We can't slut shame. We can't body shame. We can't, demean. All these things. I mean, I was looking at, the great heels. I got the NWO. Like Ric Flair, Scott Steiner, Rick Rude. They'd be canceled today, but Dudley's would probably be arrested on charges. Back to ECW. I just worry that the TKO has become too well. It's about kids and families, and because of that, you don't have heels that people really boo because they can't do all the stuff. As wrestling fans, you understand. To be a villain, you need to do villain crap. You need to make the babyface feel sympathetic. Because there's no one who gets booed anymore, really. And this is the scary part, because they can't write a villain to be a bad guy. He has to be, misunderstood. Or wait a minute, he is just a little bit edgy.
No, the thing is, they can create villains. This is the double-edged sword. Number one is because they want everyone, babyface or heel, to sell merch, and that they don't want to sacrifice that because they put so much emphasis into merch, as I just said 6 minutes ago. The problem is because we live in, like, you can make a downright dastardly freaking heel. You can, absolutely. Like I said, Gunther is that guy. No one's cheering Gunther.
They're in Europe. And again, he's not really a heel.
In Europe, that's like Bizarro Land. That's like when Bret Hart was a heel on everywhere on the planet except Canada. That's just the way that is. But you can make a dastardly heel. The problem is that we live, the cultural zeitgeist has changed where even if you try to make, you could literally have a guy go out there and freaking beat a child with an with a freaking extension cord in front of their mother. And unfortunately, you're still going to get people that are going to cheer them. Why? Because of the way that entertainment in general has gone over the past 20 years, where people love to cheer the villain. We live in a post-Breaking Bad society where people were cheering for Walter White. People, even though they knew it was wrong, were idolizing Homelander in The Boys. Like, they're the most evil fucking person in the universe, but there's still people who are proponents of them. That's unfortunately the society we live in now. And I'm leaving it just to entertainment, not to matter real life. Like there's culture that idolizes serial killers. Like, unfortunately, that's kind of where we've fucking gotten as a society.
Well, I understand that part. I mean, like I was thinking about that. They can't show the Randy Orton punt scenes anymore because, again, sponsors get very upset. And then you can't upset, the Slim Jims and the Mattels and the EA Sports. They are almost in the booking committee whether we think it or not. So again, like Gunther, yeah, he's a heel, but he doesn't cheat. He doesn't beat up women. He doesn't, really do anything dastardly because again, it's goes back. WB is a merch seller, and you want to sell merch, and you want to have the kids come in. And parents aren't going to let their kids watch a guy punt Rhea Ripley in the head or watch, he heel slut shame Becky Lynch. That's not cool. We can't do that. We gotta be very PG. Sell those T-shirts. Hey, new OTC Bloodline T-shirts out for $19.99.
I wish it was only $19.99. They started charging like $40 for their fucking shirts to start with. You gotta wait for clearance sales. But yeah, it's just, unfortunately, it's because of merch. And it's just, it's like I said, it's sometimes they just don't want to push the envelope when they should. And that's not just a WWE problem. That's everywhere. And I'm not singling out any company because I see it on the indies all the time. The problem is it starts at the roots and builds its way up. Because now on the indies, where you pluck these guys from, they're like, I want to be a cool heel. No. Be a heel or be a fucking babyface. Like, stop it. I want to be a cool heel. No. And unfortunately, it just goes all the way up the fucking ladder now, where it's like, I want to be a cool heel. No, fuck no. No. You can have, and I'm saying, you can have a cool heel on your roster. You can have 2 or 3, but you can't have every single fucking one be one.
Well, here's the conundrum we're now facing. Seth Rollins defeated Braun Breaker in a steel cage match to end that feud. And now we're getting Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns again for part 86 because, well, we got to sell SummerSlam in Minnesota and we want to have a night 2 and I hate this. I hate it.
I don't.
I hate. I'll give you my reason why. You're not building any new people for Roman. You're just replaying the hits, and I get it. It's the hits, and you know they'll deliver. But God damn it, push Braun Breaker or push Javon Evans. Do something fresh. Instead, this just feels like, well, Roman has new T-shirts. We got to sell that. And then Seth is going to sell his merchandise. And hey, there wasn't any real heat between these two. There wasn't. It ended by them posing and saying we need to run it back for one more time because time is not on our side. God damn it, this is just pissing me off. As you said, TKO is getting lazy because Creative knows, as you said, well, hey, Saudi Mania next year. Hey, we just need to sell dream matches, even though this dream has been going on for years. God damn it. They can't make heels because they don't want to make heels because they want to sell merch. And people are getting a little bit sick of this because this is what? Rollins versus Reigns, the never-ending story.
But this is where, and here's where I'll play your devil's advocate, because quite literally, when this promo ended and the Chiron came up that it was the end of the show, first thing I did was I went on Twitter and I said, that is how you sell a SummerSlam. Because the two of these guys have a built-in story that has been going for 13 years. In that time, Roman has never pinned Seth. I think he got a DQ victory over him once. Or no, not even. So Roman has never pinned Seth. And that's the thing, is Roman's supposed to be the tribal chief in the end, the alpha and the omega, and Seth is his kryptonite. And Seth made it very poignant during that thing where he said, I may not be able to do this much longer, which I hope isn't the case, but he knows that, Father Time is undefeated. And he knows, especially with getting injured a couple of times in the past couple of years, that like, shit, maybe I'm going to have to start cutting back. He doesn't want to cut back, but he knows he's going to have to. SummerSlam is one of the big four. The big four, you have to do marquee stuff. SummerSlam is not. SummerSlam, Mania, Rumble. Hold off Rumble. But SummerSlam, Mania, Survivor Series are the ones where you need to, for lack of a better term, play it safe. You need your marquee matches to feel to have your most established names. Those are not the times to experiment with people in the main event.
But that's the problem. When do you experiment? Because again,
that's what the throwaway PLEs are for. That's what the
but Roman doesn't do throwaway PLEs. Unfortunately, he's now become a part-time guy, and I get it. He's at that age. He's put his body through the ringer. The fact that he hasn't got a major injury is remarkable when you consider it. He is, looking at taking care of his kids and his family. He is winding down, and I get it. He has other duties. It's just a bigger overarching problem. Well, Roman won't do Backlash. He won't do he definitely probably won't do the Money in the Bank, because he never does Money in the Bank. And then he started going, well, when are we elevating Javon? When are we elevating Braun? When are we elevating a younger guy and not just do the greatest hits? Because, again, they could use this in their back pocket if they want to for Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, Mania next year, because I don't even think that, Mr. Hollywood, The Rock, is ever going to do Saudi Arabia. It's, his Hollywood friends, he doesn't want to, get upset with them, so, This could have been done any time, and instead it's just like, whoa, let's just do it now, because, hey, we don't have to think, it just writes itself. And again, it's the bigger overarching problem with Raw, is that you watch it and they're not pushing the younger talent. They're still relying on the older stars. Nobody's getting elevated. And unlike TNA, they're not firing any of their creative. They're just letting them keep doing what they're doing, and we're just getting this year-long slog where nothing is getting elevated because we need to keep the Punks, the Romans, the Rollins, the Reigns fresh.
But there are people getting elevated. It's just they're doing it. You can tell the people that are getting elevated the right way because they're not being shoved down your throat. And you may think they're floundering in the mid card, but that's where they're thriving. Javon is finding his footing in the mid card. Joe Hendry is finding his footing around there. Penta. Penta. It took him a year to get the Intercontinental title, but it's because they didn't want him to burn out. Friggin'
They don't have feuds for these guys though. There's no feud for Penta. He doesn't have an opponent. He hasn't had an opponent for a while now. They don't have a heel.
He's got like 5 opponents, dude. They're actually trying to build out around the Intercontinental title where there's a bunch of different challengers in time. You got Rusev, you got Ethan Page, you got Javon, you've got Rey Mysterio. Like, there's people there. Unfortunately, the beginning of that was let's throw everyone into a ladder match at the same time instead of slowly being like instead of slowly having all of them at the on different weeks and then have it culminate in that. They went backwards. But there are people that are getting built. The main event scene, you cannot shove someone into without consequence. That's what they're seeing with Femi. They stuck him in there with Brock, and then what do you do with him after Brock? The dude is literally like, I hate to harp on this, but he does 3 moves. You can see him counting his steps on the way to the ring with the blind look in his eyes. The piped in chants are ridiculous now. It's not organic. It is piped in. Go back and watch Monday's Raw and tell me that those chants are not piped in. You know how you can tell the difference? Because the dude in the production truck who was working the sound mixer fucked up. And when he hit Brock's music, it was on the same track as Oba's chants, so you could barely hear it. Usually when you hear Brock's music, it's macked and you hear the damn and the crowd pops. You could barely hear that because he was too busy mixing the sound of when to pipe in the chants and when not to. But anyways, let me get back to this. They could have done this at any time, theoretically. Here's the problem. One, they painted themselves into a corner where they put Femi over as King of the Ring, knowing full well that they weren't going to have him do the title shot at SummerSlam. So then they're like, well, what do we do? At the same time, their ultimate plan was to do Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul at Mania. I'm sorry, at SummerSlam. But then Logan had to go and get hurt. And they're like, well, we can't drag out Seth versus Braun until then. So, we're going to have that culminate in Saudi. There's no money in Seth versus Austin Theory because Austin Theory's been the whipping boy of that stable. So what do? Well, Roman needs an opponent. We need someone with a built-in storyline. And quite literally that moment last night on that screen, for me, that was the equivalent of 10 years ago when Taker was standing in the ring a month before Mania and Tripp's music just hit and he walked down and he pointed at the sign and walked away. That was that. We have a history. You know damn well we can do this. That's how you sell tickets.
Again, it's the lazy.
People want to see it, and this will be Roman finally beating his nemesis. This will be Roman getting Seth, which has never happened. And I'm sorry, but it's because there's no one else there is no one else on the main roster on Raw that you could put against Roman right now for the title. And it's not a matter, and that's not because they haven't been building up anyone. It's no one's on his fucking level. And while there's people trying to prove themselves, you need to look at it from the viewpoint of going to the casual fan. And if you ask the casual fan who should face Roman Reigns and you hold up a bunch of fucking flashcards of current WWE guys, they'd be like, no. I love Javon Evans. Javon and Roman's not going to sell tickets. I love Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry and Roman's not going to sell fucking tickets. Braun Breaker is shite, and I keep telling you people that he's shite. Braun Breaker versus Roman will not sell tickets. Who do you have on Raw that will sell tickets against Roman? Seth and Brock. That's about it right now. People need to start stepping up. It's not a matter of just the creative team sitting on their laurels, but other people need to step the fuck up and prove that they can fucking get over enough where they can get slotted into that main event slot during the off months in between the big four and sell tickets.
again, it's also creative when they don't want to create villains. They don't want. It's just again, as you said,
it's a two-way street.
It's a
two-way street. Solo. No one wants to fucking cheer Solo. Solo's a bona fide heel.
They haven't done him any favors with the MFTs. That's a whole. Once again.
Yeah, but still, the whole time since he debuted on the main roster, Solo's never been a babyface, and no one's ever been behind Solo. Solo's a bona fide heel.
He also got dragged into that godforsaken Wyatt Six mess. Again, it gets back to creative. And I look at W Creative and like, all right, these people almost had like a Supreme Court job, security. Nobody gets fired WWE Creative unless they do something really, really offensive. And since none of them are going to do anything offensive, we're stuck with these people, and it just feels like everything is just, we're going to be easy will. We're just, and again, I feel like I'm becoming an amazed guy here.
I hate to tell you this, dude, but you'd be amazed the turnaround on the creative team. Like, the heads of the creative team, they get to stick around, but ancillary people on the creative team, there's quite a turnaround down there. I will tell you. You know why? Because they're not union, so they can just keep getting fucking kicked out.
Speaking of kicking out, TNA kicked out of a really bad slump, and this TNA Slammiversary, you know what? I liked it. It was fast-paced. It was wrestling that wasn't, overly long. There were some storylines built in. I'll say this, Eric Tompkins and Hunter Johnson, a.k.a. Delirious, did a good job of booking this card where you look, okay, finishes that, heels got out, the heels won, but we weren't doing the, the roll up over tights or, bullshit, sort of illegal moves. Everything was, when you looked at this was a bit of a fresh, and most people came out of Slammiversary and actually loved the product. I gotta give them credit. Their creative stepped up.
I don't know. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I had plans that during the time that was on. So, I mean, from what I've heard, though, it's positive. And I mean, that's good. That's good and all. But now we have to see how they produce the television product. Because you can steal a town, but it depends on if you can keep doing it week after week. Like, I have no problem with them putting the title on Nemeth. I think that's the right move, considering Santana's probably getting signed to NXT. I'm cool with that. I'm still not a fan of the people in the X Division match because most of them didn't make sense. I am happy that they're doing they're putting Red into the TNA Hall of Fame because
we'll get to that later. That's going to be a bigger segment.
So, sorry, yeah.
So Nick Nemeth is your champion going in. He, again, for what they need for right now, he is the ideal opponent. If you're right now Delirious and you're Eric Tompkins, you're sitting down here, who should be the guy that takes the title off of Nick Nemeth? Because as you said, Mike Santana's probably gone at the end of the summer straight to NXT, unless something wild and crazy happens, which it probably won't. But hey, TNA fans can dream. So
see, the first thing you need to do is get out of the mentality of the moment someone wins a belt, who's going to take it off of them. Let shit breathe. Let Nemeth hold the belt for a while.
I'm not saying they're going to lose it right away, but again, you want to start going, okay, what's the long-term plan? Who's the guy that we want to start trying to push to maybe eventually get ready for that?
Well, I mean, and that's where you start looking at who you have and who you may be bringing in during the summer. Because we all know, like, and I'm not saying this is what you do, but we all know Apollo Crews, shows up in TNA. I like Uha. He's a nice guy. I don't see him. I mean, TNA is a different scenario. He might be able to pull off something there. So that's a possibility. Of course, I think they'd be better off keeping him in the X division. It all depends. It all depends on what. Obviously, the next couple of months, people are going to get mad, but it's going to be a lot of the tried and true, as far as challengers for Nemeth until they establish the next big bad for him. It's going to be Frankie Kazarian. It's going to be Eric Young. It's going to be Eddie Edwards.
Well, he's a heel.
People aren't going to like it.
I don't know, but right now, he's the heel in this whole feud. So again, it might be just Trey Miguel's, the Elias's,
Right. It'll be Elias. It'll be the guys that are there that they know they can plug in there while they build up someone to be on the thing where they will get the gigantic Sting beats Hogan moment.
Ricky Sosa is the one that fans want pushed to the high heavens. He's still very new. He's 20 years
Right.
old. So if you're TNA, how do you want to keep him happy? You want to push Ricky Sosa, but you don't want to just, as you said, strap the rocket and have him crash because he ain't ready yet. So how does TNA pull this off? If you say you're Delirious, you're Eric Tompkins, how do you pull it off so that you get you do what you did with Leon Slater, you have him become the next star, but you don't just rush it.
I mean, the problem with that happened with Leon Slater was they had so many problems with travel issues that like they pushed him and then he could never be there. So you can do it with Ricky Sosa. It's just you sit him down and you be like, okay, you want to do some funky stuff, that's fine, but limit it. Um, you make it so the crowd doesn't get burnt out on him. You make him an attraction, so you don't have him wrestle a match on Impact every week. You have him do it every 3 weeks. You just still have him in the conversation by doing backstage vignettes or pre-tapes or whatever, so he's still there. But let the fans keep wanting more of him. Don't give him too much of him. That's the problem. It's if you keep feeding the crowd the same thing every week, they're going to get tired of it really fast. Even if it's something they love, if you keep giving a kid ice cream and just keep feeding him ice cream and like nonstop bowl after bowl, eventually he's going to say, stop, I don't fucking want this anymore. So they need to be slow about it. They need to look at who they have, who they want to build. Obviously, use your ancillaries in the meantime that are there that you can plug and play. I hate to use this term, but it's your WWE mid carders that can be TNA main eventers. Because that's the fucking case it's always been. It's you can't. It's like you're not gonna fucking main event WrestleMania, but you can main event Slammiversary.
Triple threat for the TNA International Championship. Mustafa Ali retained against Rich Swann to be debuting Uhaa Nation. Finish was Rich Swann going for a handspring cutters. Ali basically countering it, went to a bridge roll up. I like this. It was a fun match. Yeah, it was a bit lazy booking, but you didn't see a heel that had to cheat. You didn't see too much, you know, foreign interference. Multiple run-ins, schmoz finish,
Mm-hmm.
and it protects Uhaa Nation. So give it. You know what? I can't complain about this because, as you said, you want to do something where you debut a guy, he makes an impact. He doesn't win the title, but he's not losing his match right away.
Right.
What's the ceiling for Uhaa Nation? I mean, as Apollo Crews, it just felt like WWE had no real plan. Like, oh, we'll do this, and we're going to put you cold. Then we're going to do this, and then we're going to put you cold. Like, what's
the problem was, so he was a Dusty guy, which that shows how long he was in the WWE system. He was a Dusty. Dusty was a big proponent of him, and I worked with Uhaa on the Indies years ago. He has a ceiling which WWE like evidently like decided to showcase all the time. A lot of people don't want to realize this, but Uhaa was the blueprint for Oba Femi. No one will admit it, but it's true. Everyone bitched about Uha's fake accent. No, Uha's accent was actually real. He had to learn American diction to learn how to speak regular. But everyone said it was a fake accent. Meanwhile, Oba actually has the fake accent. Anyways, sorry, losing my point. But Uha's a guy where X Division, absolutely. Depending on how the crowd keeps reacting to him, and just depending on his trajectory, you could see them putting him in the main event in TNA if he sticks around. If he sticks around, Slammiversary next year, you could very well have him in the title match there, and people would buy it, and it wouldn't feel like they're stealing it. Then they could show the 1 year trajectory of how he just showed up for this and how he won over the crowd. He felt reinvigorated, his spirit's back, yada yada, and now he's fighting for the TNA title. And you can put him over for it. And I think it could work. Like I said, TNA is a much easier place to be a main eventer than WWE.
Moose defeated Eddie Edwards in a no surrender match, which, yes, there was plunder. Yes, there was, Moose's wife got involved, but They did the no surrender pretty good. Eddie looks in phenomenal shape. This reason, look again. It was 13 minutes, so it wasn't like a long, drawn out, just sort of 25-minute match where you got, oh my god, please end this. Got over, and Eddie Edwards, that slight thing in Boston, got booed. So again, I give credit to TNA. They understood, all right, how to make a guy a scumbag heel. TNA seems to not have to worry about the merch so much like WWE. Could this lead to bigger things where they start, now that Dreamer's gone, now that, Delirious and Tompkins are there, they might get a bit more creative with, building heels, building faces, and actually maybe pushing the envelope a little more.
Absolutely. It's just the system is played out. The system needs to go away. Like, I love Eddie. I broke into this business. Me and Eddie had the same trainers. Like, I love Eddie. But Eddie's also getting up there in years. I mean, hell, I'm getting up there in years. So I know how old Eddie is. Same thing with Moose. Moose ain't no spring chicken. While Moose may look like a star, he ain't got much time left in the tank. So, and the thing is, Eddie, like I said, Eddie was always this great worker. Eddie could never really talk that well.
His wife does the trick, though. His wife has learned how to become the bitchy heel. So
his wife was always good at that. His wife was a great worker back in the day. Like, a lot of people don't realize that, she was a wrestler too. So, I don't know. I think Eddie, I can see Eddie being that, codgerly, angry vet that is, kind of like the role that Eric Young's doing right now, where it's like, you got to prove yourself in this business. I could kind of see Eddie Edwards doing something like that, but he's just the system is just, that is such a played out gimmick that just needs to go. It should have gone away when JDC retired. Just, adding new members and flipping them heel did nothing. It's people are sick of seeing them. Like, and like, I'm sorry, but like Cedric Alexander, another dude, he can work, he can't fucking talk. So, whatever. I mean, but TNA, you can thrive by being able to work and not talk. Bear Bronson, I have no fucking use for. I never have. So yeah, I say Ixnay on the system. Get rid of it. Moose should probably start wrapping things up. Eddie, even if he sticks around, can be a freaking player coach, and it will be beneficial to the company.
All right, we have a new TNA Knockouts World Champion. Xia Brookside turned heel, and god damn it, TNA put the belt on her. After years of Slammiversary where the baby faces always win, heels actually went 50-50 in this pay-per-view. And look, I give Xia Brookside a lot of credit. She usually, somebody turns heel, well, they're not going to change anything. They're still going to wear the same outfits, colorful. They're still going to be who they are, basically. She changed. She changed, maybe tweaked her style a bit. She has worked as a heel better. She's cut heel promos. She's been, a little bit mean, which I like. I mean, look, and the finish was she's, trying to, Lei Ling Lee's trying to, do a running power bomb. She grabs on, Xia grabs onto the turnbuckle, pulls it off. They hit the move. Later on, though, she does a snake eyes to Lei Ling Lee on the exposed turnbuckle, and then hits a DDT. And hey, didn't really cheat, like no, foreign interference, no third party. Hey, this is a nice little match. And again, it's something which I think this whole year, and with either jumbling it between NXT talent, Lei Ling Lee, this just felt like, okay, they're on the right path. This is the TNA's going back to, let's really invest in the knockouts.
I hope so. I still think that the knockouts division is severely lacking right now, and they need some fresh blood. But I called them putting the belt on Xia. Like, it just makes sense right now. They need a heel champ for baby faces to chase. I like Lei Ying Lee. I think she's definitely reinvented herself since leaving WWE. Unfortunately, she still can't cut a fucking promo unless she's crying, and no one wants to see a crying promo. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I think they need to take a look at who's available, who they can bring in. There is a there is a plethora of untapped talent as far as women go on the indies who have not been scooped up and left to and put in Guantanamo Bay. It's just a matter of giving them a chance. Like I said, like I've mentioned with TNA, with the men's division, like there are women out there that you can use that will get over. You just got to give them a chance.
So the TNA Knockouts Championships also turned. Demon Bunny, aka Allie, and Rosemary defeated M by Elegance and H by Elegance. That's the one trouble they're going to have is there's not a lot of tag teams in pro wrestling. Everything has either been scooped up or most people don't want to be in a tag team. Even on the indies, like Allison Kay of with Death Doll's like, yeah, we can't find people here. So
right.
I hate saying this. Should they now that they have this new women's title, the TNA TV title, should there be a push to either find a tag team or just dissolve the tag team belts altogether? Since nobody seems to want to be in tag team anymore. It doesn't draw money. People aren't invested. Everybody wants to be either world champion or singles champion.
I would dissolve them because I did not agree with them making a secondary women's belt when their women's roster is so bare, like threadbare right now. Like I didn't agree with that. I think if this was like the heyday of the knockouts division in like around like 2009, 2010, sure. By all means, you got a ton of talents there. Make a secondary women's belt. Now, no. There's not enough people. So yeah, if you're gonna go that route, get rid of the tag belts. Get rid of them. Especially because as it was like the Elegance brand was doing nothing with them. So like they were a comedy act who never even worked, and like that whole shit with Dana Brooke and the fact that they have her under contract, but she can't bump, so they have her doing this bullshit where she gets in the ring for a match, but then says, "I'm having a mental breakdown," and leaves. Like, I'm tired of it. Just release her. She can't fucking work. She couldn't work when she wasn't injured. So fucking release her. Get rid of the Elegance brand. Have Mr. Elegance figure something else out because that gimmick is just dumb. Yeah, and get rid of just get rid of the women's tag division. If you're gonna push it for a secondary women's belt, get rid of the women's tag division.
I mean, I want to see them push H by Elegance, especially M by Elegance, aka Maggie Lee, who trained with Seth Rollins. Like they got to start with her. They need to start. So again, and I get it. The Elegance brand is a thing which Dana Brooke created, and I give him credit. But if you're not, either they have to make it more edgier and more vicious, a la the Beautiful People, or they need to figure out what the plan is with M and H by Elegance because this isn't working. And again, I feel bad because I don't like just ruining, throwing away tag titles, but it's just nobody seems to want to be in the tag team, which
right.
That gets us to the other match, which people are going to talk about for Slammiversary. The Hardys won a 4-way ladder match for the TNA tag titles. And look, the rest, I loved Elias versus AJ Francis. I thought that match cooked. I thought they did a great job considering both guys are, they're big size, and they did some fun stuff. I loved the fact that Eric Young and Ricky Sosa had a good little match. I enjoyed the hell out of even, which we'll get to later on, the Cruiserweight, Ultimate X match. And Elena Black, Indy, Matt Hartwell, and Mara Sade was a fun triple threat. This just sucked. And look, again, there's so many issues we can go through. So let's go with the first one here. The 4 tag teams, as you said, are the good hands who, look, they're good little workers, but you don't take them seriously because they don't have it. The Hardys,
and they were fucking thrown in through a backstage promo.
I know, but just let me finish, and then you can take over and just, do your evisceration. You have a Righteous who it just isn't clicking. Maybe, and I blame the fans as much as I blame creative because it's just they're too out there for them. You got the system, which has defended the title once. And again, it just feels cold, and I get it. There's really nobody from the Hardys to feud with if you take away the Righteous, because nobody's over. So again, what do you do here, JJ?
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Like, I understood putting the tag belts on the Hardys when going into the AMC deal. They have the AMC deal now. They don't need the Hardys to hold the fucking belts because the Hardys are already on the fucking show. This would have been the perfect opportunity to pull the trigger on the Righteous. And like I said, I've mentioned in the past before, like, me and Vinny haven't always seen eye to eye, but they've come into their fucking own. Like, the feud with the Hardys went way too fucking long. They finally finished it, and then they were like, "Oh, we're gonna put one more exclamation point on this and have them, and fucking, add the Hardys to the freaking tag title match against the for the titles." It was like, okay, fine. This could be the fucking exclamation point, and then you add the Good Hands through a throwaway 30-second backstage bit that if you were flipping channels wouldn't fucking see. For no reason, and like literally, it was Sonya Deville just being like, "Oh yeah, you guys have done a lot recently, so yeah, you guys are in the tag title match." Like, what? It was like the scene in Undercut. Shy McBride is freaking talking to everyone, about like letting them into the undercover organization, and Dave Chappelle's just like, "What the fuck? I got college loans. I got no good food to eat. I sleep on a pissy mattress." And then he turns like, "Yeah, sister girl, you win too." What the fuck, Chief? That's how I felt. Because I was like, there is no reason for this. And then on top of it, you put the damn belts back on the fucking, like, I even said, I think I said it on here, like, it's time for the Hardys to start wrapping it up. Wrap it up. Go, get ready for your Hall of Fame induction in WWE. Just like, sign a rights deal for your likenesses so you don't have to keep taking fucking bumps, because both of you, like, you can't walk. Like, I don't get it. And especially at a time where you're in a state of rebuilding the company. And now is the time where you can start actually like putting in tag teams, trying out new tag teams. You think you would want to try out tag teams against not really younger, but a team that doesn't have so many miles on them with the Righteous. Like, the Righteous could be the heel tag team who are the ones who like just keep getting away with it while you build up a good young baby face tag team. Instead, now we're going to get the Hardys and the Righteous feuding for another 6 months, which people bitched about Tommy Dreamer doing. Well, guess what? Now you're going to keep fucking seeing it. Like, there's no point.
I get that.
No point to it.
You're sort of stuck with what you have, and you look at the rest of a roster. It's like, all right, the system. And as you said, they're heels, but nobody really cares. Then it's the Good Hands, who, again, they are the indie tag team. And this is meant to knock them, but they're not over. They're just. Mm-hmm. And then you got Sinner and Saint, who, again, two guys who can work, but they look like they'd work at Walmart. They're very small. They have no personality. It gets back to the AEW conundrum, which is AEW has signed almost every tag team there is. They're not using them. I mean, if you're TNA, like, what I guess is the plan B when you're looking around like, okay, there's nothing. Maybe we just throw BDE with EC3 and try something. But when the indies are even struggling with tag teams, it's like, well, what is the plan that you could do that would be better, that involves, I don't know, something different when there isn't really anything different.
That's when you go back to the WWE method of taking the singles guys that you haven't seen, if you can make them make tag teams out of them. You make chicken salad out of chicken shit. I mean, for fuck's sake, what's more believable in the Good Hands than that is, granted, you would have to take the singles belt off them first, but have Ali and freaking Bill Collier in that spot. It's like, that way you've got the little guy and the big guy tag team. You've got the dastardly heel and the fucking heavy. That would come out better as a tag team than the fucking Good Hands. And then like, and I'm not, what do you call it? I'm not suggesting like this would be a good idea, but fucking like you put together BDE and Ricky Sosa. Like it's not the greatest thing in the world, but you might get something out of it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see here. I'm looking at the I'm looking at the current.
I mean, again, they're ideas, but they're not great ideas. Like it's just maybe the hope is, hey, look, AEW loses TV deal, they just start releasing people, and the Von Erichs come in, or Turbo Magnum, and they come in, or even maybe you get somebody like Odinson from NWA to come in, like something. But for now, it's just like it just seems.
Well, Odinson just got released, so that's a possibility. Not Odin. Yeah, Odinson. Yeah.
I mean, right now it's just break glass. We're going back to the rifles because there's nothing else. So let's go into a good thing, something that JJ will smile about. The X Division featured Cedric Alexander retaining in a fun-filled scrap with Amazing Red, Leon Slater, Mr. Elegance, Frankie Kazarian, and Casey Navarro. Well, Fabian Eichner. The finish was a little bit, hey, a heel got sneaky, grabbed the title as both Red and Leon Slater were on top, grappling for it. Afterwards, Amazing Red has been introduced by, of all people, Frankie Kazarian to be in the TNA 2026 Hall of Fame. You covered him. You know Amazing Red. Mm-hmm. Like you said it best, where he inspired a younger generation. What is it? What is Amazing Red's legacy right now? I mean, he hasn't retired, but still, I mean, for a guy who's probably on the back nine, why should fans who have not seen Amazing Red care?
Because he was a guy that he got doubted a lot because of his height and his size. He put in the work. He got over in Japan at a really young age. Came over. TNA was there right at the beginning for him. He's a dude who, unfortunately, luckily he was able to stay healthy for the most part, but he was doing a lot of risk-taking shit that really could have gotten him hurt along the way. But he was just, he was an attraction, especially for the fact that, for a guy his size. And he was the inspiration for a lot of your newer X Division / Spot Monkeys / whatever people to be like, if he could do it, I could do it. Now that's a double-edged sword. But still, he was there for that. And when he opened up his own school, a lot of people flocked to that. And he has trained a lot of very talented people. He's also trained a lot of fucking prima donnas. But there are several talents that I have booked. Like I said, I've worked with Red a lot. And there are several of the people that he has trained that I have booked, that I have seen potential in over the years, that I like the fact that Red taught them the work smarter, not harder mentality. Some of them do. It's a story for another day. But, and he's always been a really soft-spoken dude, really nice, never really played politics. Yeah, I was thinking back to one incident, but that wasn't him. That was his tag team partner that was playing the politics. Story for another day. But yeah, Red's always been agreeable, whatever you need, whatever you want. And I think he knew early on, I think he realized WWE was never going to come calling because of his size. So he just did what he could do. TNA was his place. And then even after he left TNA, for years, he was still grinding on indies. He was still he's a guy where he has enough of a following pre-major social media where, if you saw Amazing Red was on the show, it would sell some tickets. He was always good for that. I think he was also hamstrung by association with some people, whether it be people that he associated with or people he was related to. If anyone knows the entire legacy of Jose and Joel Maximo, the SAT, they're Red's cousins, and they would swing their dicks around of we're Amazing Red's cousins everywhere they go and burn bridges everywhere they go. And that reflected badly on Red a lot of times when Red was just like, listen, they're my fucking cousins. I don't give a fuck about it. Granted, because he helped them out early on when they were trying to get over. But then they like both of them just, there's a whole lineage of, just look it up. It's bad. But Red's always given more back to the industry than he's taken. And I'm glad that he's getting this recognition because, yeah, definitely, like, because I don't think TNA's done their, like, well, no, they still do their Hall of Fame, but they don't, like, really feature it. So it's glad that they made that announcement and that they considered Red because I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because I remember when, it was a few months back, I think it was January, must have been January, GCW did a show at the Hammerstein and they inducted Homicide into the Indie Hall of Fame. And Red was the guy that gave Homicide the plaque. And I was just like, oh yeah, don't you think Red should be getting one of those too? Well, apparently somewhere in the ether was listening, and now Red's getting this.
Another guy who's getting into TNA Hall of Fame, Conan, which we could do a full show on him and still do justice. His career, you could literally. It's funny. I was thinking about this. It's like Frank Robinson in baseball, or Larry Bird in basketball, or even Mario Lemieux in hockey, where there's the playing days, there's the a little bit too fast here. There's the coaching days, there is the owner days.
Yep.
Look at Conan TNA, and again, it's like there's chapters and everything here. How big was he for TNA in terms of? You look at a lot of the Latino stars from LAX to the new LAX, even Eddie Kingston to the Lucha Brothers, and it's like, holy crap, he really pushed them to show that you could be a draw and make money in pro wrestling outside of Mexico.
Yeah. There is a very small amount of people in this world that have that eye for talent where it's completely subjective. They just see something in a person and it's not backed by an agenda. Conan is one of those guys because because obviously, it's like I mention every week about how like certain people they're like, oh, he's going to be a star. And so you just start shoving people down their throats, but they're not looking at it subjectively. Conan has always looked and said, okay, Conan would sit there and look and watch someone early on and see what they could do. And then if he could, he would talk to them and then see what they could do. And then after a few viewings would be like, something's going to be there. Conan was the first guy to see that in Penta. Like a lot of people were just like, oh yeah, whatever. Another guy, Conan saw that in Penta. Conan was the first guy to tell people that Rey Mysterio was going to be the most recognizable name in Lucha Libre at the end of the day. He was fucking right. Conan stuck through, Conan stuck around AAA when AAA was spiraling the fucking drain because he was still trying to get people over. Conan is the guy that made sure that Psycho Circus stayed a unit and everything that happened with them, so that now with the AAA, with the WWE back AAA, Psycho Circus is getting over the way they are because he saw it. One thing I don't care for, and this is not a knock on Conan, one thing I don't care for is the fact that people would bring in Conan and try to have him give his endorsement to people, thinking that that was the same thing. And it's not. That's Conan taking his payday going, you want me to say this guy's a big deal? Okay, give me my fucking money. All right, I'm out. Why? Because Conan's a fucking worker at the end of the day. Rock on. I saw this happen firsthand in MLW. Battle Riot 2021 or 2022. The Battle Riot that was in Philly. I was there. Conan was a big surprise. Conan comes out, all of a sudden you see LAX on the screen. And Conan comes out, and it was Conan facing off against Cesar Duran, Dario Cueto in the ring. Because that was when they were doing the Lucha Underground knockoff shit. And he brought out these two guys who were supposed to be the new LAX. And it was Slice Boogie and Danny Limelight. and they were supposed to be the new LAX, and it was them facing off. It was them in the ring, and so it was Jordan Oliver and Myron Reed were there as well when they were the I always forget the name of the
Natural Born Killers.
No, not natural. No, they were like MLW's version of the Rascals at the time.
Yeah, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But so it was this whole big thing between it, but they were really trying to push Danny Limelight, who was like, my name's Rivera now, like out of nowhere. But yeah, Danny Limelight and Slice Boogie is the new LAX, and it was never catching on. Why? Because Conan never fucking said that. That was Court Bauer trying to fucking push that shit. So of course it never got over like that. And Conan never showed up in MLW again after that. He was like, I'm here because it's Philly and you paid me. So, and here's like, I know a lot of people sometimes will watch or won't watch or whatever, like keeping it 100 as far as the podcast goes, like Conan is pretty dead honest on that, which has always been a good thing. I think Conan gets a lot of gruff because there's a lot of times where Disco speaks out of turn. Like, and I'm not saying I'm not here to get in a war with Glenn Gilberti. He's given a lot of time and effort to this business. I just know that sometimes he has some really awful fucking takes and he refuses to get off of those awful takes. And Conan ends up getting roped into the shit. But yeah, no, I'm happy, once again, I'm happy that he's there. And, I not only should Conan be in the TNA Hall of Fame, but for his contributions to the business and, him making sure AAA was still there for WWE to buy it. I think he should go into the WWE Hall of Fame eventually as well. Like, that's the way it is. And also, I wish him a speedy recovery.
Well, to questions on this topic. What is a better career for Conan? His wrestling career when he was in AAA, WCW, and TNA, or his behind-the-scenes managerial career with AAA, TNA, and now WWE TNA. I mean, WAA. Because you look at, as I said, he was one of the first big Latino stars in WCW. He reinvented himself and went full American with the NWO. He, was part of 3 Live Crew with BG James, R-Truth, and eventually even Billy Gunn in TNA. And yet again, he's the one who discovered LAX with Homicide Hernandez, with Santana Ortiz, discovering the Lucha Bros, pushing people on, hey, look, look at all this talent from Mexico that can draw in friggin', Lucha Underground. Taya Valkyrie, you gotta make her, a star because she has that star quality. Like, if you could pick which is the better career, that's a tough one because, all right, I have a tough time picking that.
And this is no disrespect to his in-ring career, but I would say the backstage, because a lot of people also don't realize that he was doing that backstage stuff while he was still working. Like, because he was Heyman's liaison for Heyman to get Mexican talents while he was wrestling. So he always had that Booker hat on. People just didn't realize it. If it weren't for Conan, we would have never seen Rey Mysterio and Psychosis in ECW, which led them to being in WCW. So just based on shit like that, yes, great in-ring talent against nothing against him against him in ring. Amazing talent. Backstage, though, surpasses.
Why is he not bigger? I mean, you look at Eddie Guerrero was a legend everywhere he goes. Ray is beloved. I mean, Conan, you could argue, has had more impact than those two, and yet it's still, there's just, it's almost like, whether it's personality, whether it's he's just too, at times, as you said, bluntly honest, he is either loved or hated. Why is it that he doesn't get the flowers that Eddie and Ray have gotten?
Because he never sought it out. Conan, above anything else, is humble. Whereas, people always point to Rey Mysterio and shit like that. Conan could have very well been out and been like, I'm the guy that did this. I'm the guy that did that. Unless he is asked about it and says, like, yeah, I helped with that. Like, he's not seeking that recognition. He knows what he's done, and he's content with knowing that he has done certain things. That's kind of the And once again, why I say that his behind the scenes career is more important is the sign of a great booker, a great promoter, all of that is the fact that at the end of the day, you remove yourself from the situation and you look at the product you put out, you look at the talents that you have pushed, and as long as they are advancing, you know you've done a good job. And that's just a sense of self-satisfaction where you do not need that praise heaped upon you by other people. You know you did right. You know that this was successful. That's all you fucking need. It's it's the philosophical and spiritual version of living within your means. And that's something Conan's always done. He's been humble. He knows what he's done. And he doesn't have to fucking sit there and go, look at all these plaques or look at all these belts. He ain't got to know that. He's like, I know what I've fucking done. I don't need to fucking flaunt it. So I'm pretty sure that's why.
Speaking of flaunting, get ready. Get ready for the F-bomb, JJ. We're going to AEW, and if you want, when AEW flaunts stuff, they flaunt. That's right. Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland. We were talking about long matches, going, oh yeah, this match is 20 minutes long in WB. Hey, this match is 18 minutes long in TNA. These two folks decide, hold our beer. 35-minute matches, tons of false finishes, sometimes no selling. Both of them bled. Kicked out of every finisher in the book. And this is at 12:20 in the friggin' morning. Yes, AEW Forbidden Door, ladies and gentlemen. And all I can tell you is I watched it, so you people didn't have to. JJ watched it because Phil Marks of Pro Wrestle Time talked him into it. And Phil Marks watched it because, God damn it, well, he is a psycho. And I say that in loving terms. But God damn this match. God damn this pay-per-view. And JJ probably even is taking a powder because he just is going to start, cursing out. But
Sorry. I'm catching up on my sleep because I was trying to fucking go to bed and this fucking event never fucking ended.
All right, so how much of a shit show is Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland?
Oh my God, dude. You were there? No, okay, so funny story. So the only reason Phil did that marathon fucking stream was because he did a stream on Saturday and he set a super chat goal. And he said, if we hit the super chat goal, then I'll do it on Sunday. The only reason he hit that goal was because there's a bunch of people that watch Phil's show that I can't stand that I have blocked. So the second I came on, they started getting pissed that I wouldn't fucking respond to them. So they started super chatting to talk shit about me. At which point I made it funnier because I went, you're out $10 to say some shit to me that I don't even give a fuck about. I was like, who's the bigger loser here? And then they kept paying. See, that's being a consummate worker. You're welcome, Phil. Of course, the problem is,
in the meantime, though, we lost 6 hours of our lives we could never get back. So,
oh my God,
I'm not sure about that here. You might have got worked. Phil got 6 hours of us for basically nothing. So let's get back to this match,
dude. And here's number one. And I've said this before. I think I said it on the stream. I have not watched AEW in over a year. How is it that I was able to go 100% across the board with match predictions for this show and get every single one right and call run-ins? How was I able to do that without one product? Why? Because it's that fucking predictable. That's your given right there. I haven't watched this shit. I hear rumblings here and there. I see a botch clip every now and then. I don't actually watch the fucking show. And I can tell you, I'm like, this one's winning, someone's going to do this running. And I was fucking boom across the board. That's bad. That proves your product is shit. Because it's that predictable. And then, yeah, getting to this, number one, and like I said, you were there.
Yeah. I regretted it as soon as the first hour came on. I'm like, oh crap, what did I get myself into?
You were there. And what kills me is we were watching the Great American Bash, which was a halfway decent show, and then when it was done, I was like, oh, now I got to watch this shit. So I went off, and I'll go off one final time. The cage match was supposed to be.
We're going to head it.
I need to preface this. The cage match was supposed to be a lights out match. Lights out matches happen at the end of the show because it is after the entire rest of the show has convened. That's the point of a lights out match. The preliminaries have all happened. The show is over. This is unsanctioned. Why the fuck did it happen before this match? Especially considering you get the big baby face pop at the end of that anyways. No, but we got to put the Owen match at the end between these two chuckle fucks. And it's just them spamming finishers. And remember when they were like bumping on the outside, and I was like, look at all that blood on the mat. That's not their blood. That's the blood from the previous match. So that means that there was no cleanup crew, which means it was just a hepatitis swamp all around the fucking ring all night. It's like, you want ringworm? That's how you get ringworm. And they're just going and going and going and going and going and going and go. Find the Energizer battery and yank it out of that fucking rabbit's back. I'm sick of this shit. And then looking back on it, how fucking stupid is this? I want you to think back because when I was actually keeping up to AEW on a weekly basis. You remember when Will Ospreay was technically a heel and being managed by Don Callis?
Yes.
And remember how he decided to never do the Tiger Driver again because it was too of a move, that I can't do it because it ends careers and I can't put myself on that. I can't be that evil of a person. I'm no longer ever going to do the Tiger 91 ever again. Hey, Chris, how did this match end?
After, I think, another Tiger Drive, which he did several times. Swerve kicked out of a couple of them. I mean, again, Swerve dropped, Will Ospreay on his neck on the ring apron. Well, only gets a 2 count. Hey, Will hit him with the Christian Cage's kill switch. They only got a 1 count. I mean, literally, at some point, I'm like, okay.
Styles Clash got a 1 count.
Just take a gun.
Yeah, but needless to say, it kept going. It kept going, and then Ospreay hits the Tiger Driver 91 to win it. I'm like, but you're a babyface now. You said you would never do this move again. What the fuck? So, maybe if you weren't too busy cutting terrible 13-year-old promos about smashing your wife, you would think back to, oh shit, I've done this in the company, so I can't have a finish this way. And then to have his wife at ringside, like, bro, not a smart move. Not a smart move.
You got to talk about the other people came to ringside. The Death Riders. That's right. They're this partnership which has never made sense. They're training
turned into a lumberjack match out of nowhere.
They're trading him for reasons because I guess all these parties are coming together. Even though I guess whatever Death Riders, are they heels, are they baby faces? Screw it. We'll figure it out week to week. I mean, JJ, I was ready to start cursing. This is before the match. After the match, I ended the stream right away, went to bed. I still was just pissed that at 35 effing minutes, this friggin' match. Oh. Mm-hmm. So I guess now, because we know Tony Khan's booking, Will Ospreay is going to be the next champion when it happens in All In Wembley.
Like I said, I'm still not pulling out the fact that Tony turns this into a 4 or 5 man clusterfuck match anyways.
No, that'll be for the next pay-per-view afterwards.
I think he's going to do it for All In.
Not for all in. He want his binkies. He won't let binkies get sort of screwed. Because we'll get to that leads us to the next match that really pissed me off. Mercedes Moné defeated Maya World. And I didn't have a picture because I couldn't find a good picture from Forbidden Door.
It's fine. It's all the same shit.
26 friggin' minutes. And also lots of kicked out of finishers, lots of, escaping. I remember when Mercedes dropped all those titles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now she still's keeping. She's now a two-time Owen Cup champion. So, yeah, elevating young women. No. Not on Mercedes watch, bitch. She went over.
So number one. Shit, I completely forgot. Oh, so I can't remember. It was either the match before this or after this. I forget which one, but it was like all the same moves. It was like no one's watching the fucking monitor because it's literally, I'm going to do a whole bunch of the same submission moves to try to fucking drag this match out. And I don't remember if it was the match after this or the match that happened before it. So I don't know.
Before, because we'll get to that one also. Trust me.
So let's blame. So then we can blame No Money Monet. Okay, so then we can blame them for not watching the monitor for the match before because there was a whole bunch of submission shit.
No. The match before those submissions came before this match, so those two could have seen. But no, hey, Mercedes gonna do what Mercedes gonna do.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Mercedes didn't watch the monitor. That's what I'm saying. Because that was one thing I talked about on the stream was back in my day, even on the piddly little indie that I was working, like we had a monitor in the back so you could see what was happening in the other matches and you would talk to people in the locker room and say, are you doing this spot? Are you doing this spot? I want to make sure I'm not doing the same spot. It was always a given. It was, Justin Credible taught that to me. He's like, if I knew I was working on the same show as Sean, I couldn't do a super kick because I knew Sean was doing a super kick, so I didn't do it. Like 101 shit. But no, they did the exact same fucking match as the people out there before them. Then it keeps going. We know she's fucking winning. She comes out with the Owen belt from the year before. I'm just like, you're not supposed to do that. And I was just like, and I said, this is literally so we can just get the vanity shot at the end of her holding up two Owen belts. She didn't even fucking do that right. She literally just goes and takes the one that's on the podium there. Like, bitch, you brought out one. The whole point is to do the glamour shot of you taking the two belts and putting them together like the ping so you can summon Ultra Bitchazord or some shit like that. But no, you couldn't even fucking do that right. You're worthless. Glad Sarath has a better wife now.
All right, you gave it too personal. Even I, but still, 25 friggin' minutes. And again, it's the same problem we talked about with AEW, but if we thought that WWE is not elevating talent, AEW doesn't even believe in elevating talent, really. No. We're not screw this, Maya World. We could have made a new start. No. Mercedes is here. And now, so we're getting Mercedes versus Thekla for the Women's World Championship at All In. Two women who nobody really likes fighting each other. This is going to go swimmingly. A spitter and a person who loves to step on people. Oh, Joseph, this is going to be the really fun part. Will be like, okay, who does Tony say no to? Thekla, who might spit at him, or Mercedes? Well, you never say no, Mercedes.
Oh, he's going to say no to Thekla. He knows Mercedes is going to pull her creative control card till the cows come home. So Thekla knows her days are fucking numbered. Thekla is probably going to be like, hey, you know how Tony Storm just said, fuck this company? I'm going to take a year off. I'm about to do that.
Well, again, and I know people are going to go, oh, you hate Mercedes Moné. No, it's not that. It's you had a chance to elevate Maya World. You had a chance to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maya World's going back to the Shadow Realm, which is AEW's Ring of Honor, a.k.a., the Phantom Zone, which nobody sees. So, yes, Maya, you had a nice little run, but hey, Mercedes came back. You're going back to the Phantom Zone.
Dude, side tangent just for a bit. Did you see what they did to Ring of Honor now?
No, I can't. I'll start cursing again.
No. They pulled what the old studio TV shows used to do for wrestling. They paint fans onto the walls.
just when I'm trying not to curse, JJ. You're just like poking a little bear, going, "Let's see if I can get him to drop an F bomb again." Motherfucker. Well, Mercedes Moné didn't even have the third longest match of the night. That was these two guys here, Zack Sabre Jr. and Kenny Omega, and once again, Forbidden Door partnership is crushed. This is just Tony Khan getting put his toys over everybody else. So the Zack Sabre Jr. is one of the big stars in New Japan. Nope, he lost a singles match to Kenny Omega, who hit the One Wing Angel after 26 minutes and 30 seconds. This match was the second match of the night on the pay-per-view, the fifth match overall, and you and I just looked at it. Oh crap, we're in trouble. God damn it! Again, what's the point of Forbidden Door anymore? I mean, again, if you Tony likes to say, "Oh yeah, this is partnerships," but if you're not, helping your partners, this just feels like I get to play with your toys. I'm going to break them. I'm going to send them back home. Right. Maybe I'll take some of them off.
Right.
Screw you, New Japan. You're on.
That's what this is. Like eventually ZSJ is going to sign to AEW because WWE doesn't want anything to fucking do with them. They gave him a chance at the Cruiserweight Classic. That was it. Like, they're never going to sign his fucking pasty skinny ass. Like, I'm sorry, but Zack Sabre, I don't care how many fucking catches can moves Zack Sabre Jr. can do. He looks like a fucking Walmart employee. Like, he is nothing special. Like, okay, so quick comparison. So way back in the day, there was a wrestler who is now retired. He was a trainer for a long time, but when he first started, he looked exactly like Zack Sabre Jr. And we used to make fun of him because he looked generic. Like, very generic. Like, the only difference between him and Zack Sabre Jr. was he had reddish hair, not bleach blonde hair. Same haircut. Everything. Skinny, simple red tights, boring. It wasn't until about 5 years in where he kind of found that extra gear and he started doing shit, and he took a little time off. He grew his hair out. He fucking grew some facial hair. He fucking realized, like, he really worked on his promo skills. And all of a sudden, he fucking came back on the scene as fucking, as the firebrand. And holy shit, did he catch fucking fire. And then he was a bona fide fucking draw. And I had no problem fucking booking him because he was fucking amazing. Because he had the talent, but he didn't have that extra gear. And then what happened? A couple of years into that, after he had fucking reinvented himself and made him look fucking amazing and was a fucking bona fide draw on any indie you put him on and well worth the money that he was asking for, Beyond Wrestling comes along and books him versus Zack Sabre Jr. Why? Because they look alike. And nobody fucking went because Zack Sabre Jr. is not a fucking draw. That man's name is Brian Fury. If you don't know the name Brian Fury, look it up. He has a storied career. He is retired now. He is trained. He's the guy that trained Carmelo Hayes, ladies and gentlemen. So I rest my fucking case.
It goes back to the bigger
ZSJ
point.
ZSJ is useless.
It goes back to a bigger point, though. Like, all right, the only match that New Japan won on the pay-per-view was their champion, which you knew Tony wasn't going to just pull a Dixie Carter and just all of a sudden have Pac go over that champion. Not while Tanahashi was there. But every other New Japan talent lost. Every other CML, Stardom talent lost. The CML talents lost. Like, again, it's just... It was cool in the beginning when they first did this. But as we've learned now with their partnership with TNA, when that happened, with New Japan, with AAA, and now CMLL and Stardom, Tony doesn't like sharing or giving. He just wants to do a long match, and then your guy loses. That's the way this cookie crumbles. So I guess we're getting Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley soon because Moxley wants it. Tony doesn't say no to any of the stars, so yeah, all right. But hey, remember,
I don't know if we're going to get that before we get the So I thought Forbidden Door was the final death knell for New Japan working with them, but apparently we're going to twist it just a little bit more. And what was hilarious was I had actually mentioned it earlier in the show, and Phil said, I don't remember this. Because I said, remember years ago when Jon Moxley was trying to get Shota Umino over as like the next big thing in Japan? Like he would never fucking stop trying to get this kid over. And then, oh, look, all of a sudden we got a backstage vignette with Shota Umino and Moxley where they want to do the Continental title against the International title.
Well, we might as well get to the rest of the card, and the rest of the card will piss me off. Although there was a lot that pissed me off in this card.
Oh my fucking God.
30 minutes of this match between 12 men, a midget who got brought in, plunder, stupid stunts that could have hurt people, and at the end, yes, a guy who turns on MJF and reveals a t-shirt that is
terrible.
Looks like a 5-year-old drew it. And
but they had a round cage.
This had you, me, and Phil all pissed. And that's tough to do because it's very different. We were pissed afterwards, just like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, this match ended.
Why the fuck would
12:20 in the morning, and we still had another match to go. Ah.
Yeah.
Oh. You take it out, JJ, because words can't describe my anger in this match.
They didn't even clean up afterwards. Like, they took away all the plunder, but they didn't mop. That's why there was a swamp of blood all over the fucking mat. It's like, I don't give a fuck that there's a round cage. You act like it's the first time it's ever been done. The Elimination Chamber was originally a round cage. Battle Bowl was a round cage. People kept... Dude, you know how many motherfuckers I saw? Like, it's like the Lion's Den. No, the Lion's Den was a 12-sided cage that had no ropes or mat. Like, there's a difference between a circle and a dodecahedron. I know y'all motherfuckers fail math on a daily basis, but give me a fucking break. Sorry, dodecagon, not a dodecahedron. Dodecahedron is three-dimensional. Yeah, see, JJ has an education. But anyways, like, just like, and the entrances took forever before the freaking cage starts, and then it was like, it was literally just it was funny because like I remember complaining about it at Night of Champions. The second Seth started throwing all the plunder in the ring during his entrance, I was just like, why can't we have a cage match just be a cage match? Why the hell do we have to have all these fucking weapons and furniture? And then sure enough, they did the same fucking thing. And then on top of it, they got to have a duffel bag with Gus in it.
It's not Gus, it's Blackheart, Leo Rush.
No, it's Gus. It's Gus from Birth of a Nation. It is blackface. It is Leo Rush doing blackface, even though he is black. He just doesn't want to fucking admit it. It's like, oh my God, it just kept going on, and just the given, the absolute given. Like, we knew going in Andrade was going to turn on the dudes. We knew that was going to happen because of, like, I don't even watch the fucking show, and I knew it was going to happen. So why the fuck do you do it at the end? Why don't you have him kick MJF in the balls to start the match, rip off the shirt, and walk the fuck out before they lock the cage?
No, that's too creative.
That's way more impactful.
Too creative. Okay. Remember, they're creative. Hey, you know what they use for weapons, people? Nintendo controllers.
Oh my God.
A Nintendo, old school Nintendo, modem, module, thumbtacks, oranges, orange slices by Orange Cassidy. And they even used a bag with Leo Rush in it.
Dude, and you remember, if you go back, if you were to be watching this stream and we had started a drinking game and you would have to do a shot every time you heard me utter the words, "This is fucking childish."
Oh,
you would die of alcohol poisoning.
There'd be people who would be calling in like, "Oh crap, our daughter is in the hospital." Well, probably our son. Our father is in the hospital. God damn it! He drank too much tequila already. It's only 9 o'clock, man. Well, he just by 12 o'clock there'd be deaths across the state.
It was childish. I also I can't wait to hear fucking Cornette eviscerate this shit, because this along with the finish of the main event, it's like literally why I went on Twitter and I said the entire culmination of the entire Forbidden Door 2026 event represents everything that is wrong with wrestling in 2026. Every single minute of it. And this was the prime culprit. It's a Nintendo. Why? 'Cause reasons. Oh, I'm going to choke. And I'm sorry, but and I'm okay, and granted, we know children don't watch AEW because, children have lives. But you know how WWE used to really put stock into those "don't try this at home" ads before a pay-per-view started? AEW doesn't do that. But here we got guys with Nintendo controller cords. Hey, white trash America, you want to make some money? If you see your kid do this shit, because we all know some of you trailer park motherfuckers do it, you can blame AEW now. Oh my God. And yeah, the orange, what? Because he's Orange Cass. Oh my God. See, they don't even realize the fucking, the reason he's called Orange Cassidy, because that joke was lost 20 years ago. Oh my God.
Speaking of 20 years ago, so now Mark Briscoe's getting a title shot against MJ. Yeah. Even though
on Dynamite.
Yes, but by the way, Andrade, who wants a title, decides, I guess, to help him because reasons.
Right.
And by the way, Mark Briscoe had to take a back body drop into thumbtacks, which got you pissed.
And Darby had to face bump into thumbtacks because apparently taking back over the thumbtacks at his fucking wedding wasn't enough. Sorry, what was that?
Darby Allin had to jump off a cage. Thumbtacks during the wedding. People didn't see that.
Oh my God! You almost fucking forgot the biggest culprit of the stupidest fucking thing in this fucking match. I still haven't got an explanation as to what the fuck was up with the exploding bag on the hook. What the fuck was that?
Hey.
What the fuck was it? It's just a random
duffel
bag on a crane hook. I'm going to reach for it. Boom, explode. Why?
We've had this.
Why?
You and I'll put you in timeout. We've had this talk. Do not ask why for logic in AEW. You accept that there's going to be something that will never make sense and just go, all right, well, it's Tony.
You might as well have had a motherfucker dressed as Wile E. Coyote with a little umbrella sitting underneath it.
Hey, don't give him any ideas. He might listen to this show and go, "Hey,
it's Warner Brothers." Zero fucking sense. It's you see the shit hanging. You don't know why it is. The heel's reaching for it, so evidently it's oh well, maybe it's the heel put it up there. But no, the second the heel touches it, it explodes. Well, then why the fuck were you reaching for it? The dumbest shit ever. My brain hurts so fucking much thinking about this goddamn match.
By the way, the heels didn't take out Lio Rush. They then stuffed him back into the bag and zipped the bag up. Then tied the bag. Which the baby faces then took the bag from Lio Rush after the match and just carried him back to the back. That's right.
Right. It's so ridiculous. And once again, going into this, why the fuck, on either side, the heel or the babyface side, why are these five guys going to team up with this guy so this one guy can get a title shot or this one guy can keep his title? Why? I mean, okay, granted, all right, fine. You know something? To be fair, the heels got paid a bunch of money. Okay, fine. So you've got that end of the equation
They're
kind of
friends,
covered.
JJ. That's what
I
friends do with
don't give a
friends.
fuck. In this world, you can't get friends to help you move, but you're going to get friends to take bumps and a thumbtack so you can get something in the end? No.
All right, they're brothers. They're brothers from different mothers, as they say. I don't know. Again, you're asking logic. I keep telling you, JJ, every time you come on the show, I try to mellow you out. Like, all right, don't talk politics, don't talk religion, don't drink after 12 p.m. at night, and don't ask for logic with Tony Khan.
And at a bare minimum, you would think because this match took place on a fucking pay-per-view, that the next title shot would take place on a fucking pay-per-view, not on a random episode of fucking Dynamite. Not only a random episode of Dynamite, but the one at Daly's place that'll be in front of 400 fucking people.
Let's get to the birthday boy. This whole birthday of just crap. That's right. Tony Khan afterwards has said, "Hey, I booked the sickos. Hey, you know, I decided to do a re-debut of Jay White to save Edge and Copeland because it was a cool moment. No, it didn't advertise it, but hey, cool moment. Made no sense in this feud, I guess, but hey, cool moment. Women's tag team put on the pre-show. He had the Women's World Champion defended her title against a Stardom partner, and then she ripped off the Stardom's mask, spit in it, and then threw it at the Stardom president, and then continued to spit. This is the company that's being booked, the second biggest company in the world, by this man. But hey, JJ, as he keeps telling us, hey, he's good. He has a great relationship with David Ellison. They're good friends.
Sure does.
With their NFL ties, and all is well. When is the media and everybody going to start realizing, like, okay, he's on borrowed time? Like, if you're Paramount and you've got word of this whole shit show sandwich,
the media fucking
knows
knows
this going, we need to get rid of this program ASAP.
The media fucking knows it. They're just keeping tight-lipped because just as the same as Tony says, oh, I'm friends with David Ellison and I'm friends with all these people. No. You see what happens is Tony walks up to these guys at the cocktail party and they're like, oh, hi, Tony. How's it going? How's your dad? Yeah. I hear you doing good things. Yeah, that's great. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hold on. I got to go talk to someone. I'll see you in a minute. The second they turn their back, this fucking kid, I fucking swear, if he fucking walks up to me one more time, if his dad didn't have half the money on the fucking planet, I would be shoving his face in the fucking toilet in the bathroom while kicking him in his non-existent balls. I hate this piece of shit. I cannot wait to get fucking rid of him and his stupid ass. Have you seen the shit that they fucking do on the fucking show? It's fucking terrible. Like, no, okay, yeah, I know wrestling's lowbrow. I know fucking hillbillies watch wrestling, but this is even fucking worse than that shit. This is fucking really bad. This is trailer park nonsense. We got to get this fucking shit gone. That's what happens every time Tony Khan is around these people.
Like, look at this setup. He likes to project himself as, hey, he works for Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey, he works for Fulham FC. So you figure when he's doing a presser that it'd be nice, it'd be clean, it'd look presentable. What are we doing here? We have two sneakers. AEW sneakers that look like crap. Yes, I get it. They're Brody League sneakers, but still they look terrible. That's part of his marketing team. Oh, he has two cups that look stupid that he's holding here.
He's always got two cups. I don't fucking get it.
Again, people sound like I'm just, picking on it, but you can make fun of Carlos Silva for good reason. You can make fun of Triple H. We do, Paul Levesque, for good reason. Everything they do, every time you see them in the presser, in the post-interview, it looks like they at least know, okay, we are professional, we're representing the company, we want you to look like us, like we're competent, that we have our crap together, and they do. Not this guy. Nope. And again, he keeps saying, well, I want to bring more people in. 6 friggin' hour pay-per-view. It is not how you bring people in. I know they deliver. But do you really remember any of it? Or after like the 4 hours, do you just go, I want to go home? Please let me just go home. It if you told me about like any moments in this pay-per-view, I'd struggle, JJ, because again, it just felt like watching a video game. Like, cool move. No sell. Oh, we finally got to the end, and we did a lot of flips and kicks. And I realized watching this pay-per-view, there were no storylines, really. The ones that were, it's like, oh, they started 2 weeks ago, and now it's ended. There was a lot of older guys who won, like Cope and Christian, who are older than I am, so in their 50s. We have the Death Riders, who we still don't know what they are because, hey, they're heels, they're baby faces, whatever. It's a Tuesday. We'll figure it out. And this is a guy behind all of it. And somehow, people will still go, oh, this is a great card. This is a pay-per-view of the year. Hey, whether it's 411 Mania, whether it's Dave Slobber on his knocker Meltzer, whether it's Brian Alvarez, whether it's Fightful, the creepy little bastards, they're all going to just, I just look. I wonder, like, when are people going to say this card was terrible, that AEW has flaws, that this company is not on the right path or trajectory? And it's just like everybody seems to like whistle past the graveyard and go, oh, well, maybe people will hire us next. I can't be losing my mind, JJ. I'm in bizarre land, right? And everybody else is just sort of like insane thinking this card was great.
No, it's the sickos. It's the 100 people on Cage Match who fucking think that they dictate what goes on this planet. Nothing can go right. It's like, this is what I want. Like, and the thing is, like, it's so weird because it's this, like I've said it before, but it's this cult mentality where they're like, yeah, but you're getting all this wrestling for your dollar. Listen, I have worked shows where the fucking booker has brought me in, or the promoter has brought me in, and he's like, oh yeah, I've got 10 matches. And I'm like, that's fucking 3 or 4 matches too many, dude. And the fucking show starts at 6 and ends at fucking midnight. And I'm like, and he's like, wow, like people started leaving. I'm like, yeah, dude, because you've got too much shit on this fucking show. There's no reason for it. I'm like, not to mention the fact that you fucking booked fucking 35 guys and there's more people in the locker room than there are in your crowd because you don't know how to fucking promote. But that's a story for another day. Like, it's just, it's people don't seem to realize that it's quality over quantity. They'll never want to admit it. That's why you get the stopwatch sickos who are like, oh, there was only this many minutes. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, motherfucker. WWE has built their company on being an experience. It's not just the matches that you're there for. It's everything surrounding it. You can tell these people have never been to like an NFL game or an NBA game or anything like that, or even a fucking MLB game. Like, you need to realize that besides what's happening on the field, like in between innings at a baseball game, in between quarters, they're doing shit for the crowd. They're playing music to pump them up. They're doing the t-shirt cannons. They're doing fucking free throw challenge, shit like that. Why? To keep the crowd engaged. So it's not just they're there for the ball going in the hoop or the fucking ball going, getting, the bat hitting the ball and going over the fucking green monster, whatever. They're there for the experience. What you are doing is with AEW is taking all of that experience out of it, and you're just giving them the basic. You're giving, it's like, yeah, sure, you're giving them the wrestling. Number one, it's terrible wrestling because there's no psychology to it, and there's no reason to fucking you don't care as to why these people are working. That's the reason Ring of Honor didn't catch on for years. Like, okay, granted, Ring of Honor, they would draw like 300, maybe 400 people because they would have a super indie card everywhere they went. But Ring of Honor didn't really start catching on until Cornette came in and made it fucking entertaining. No one wants to admit that, but it's the fucking truth. And you could see the stark difference. You want to be there for the experience. You just can't throw a bunch of matches on the card and be like, yeah, this is it. Take it or leave it. Because most people are going to say, leave it. Because I want something else. I want to be fucking entertained. That's, people, I hate sports entertainment. Well, guess what? That's all sports is sports entertainment, fucker. All of it. Not just WWE. Every sporting event you go to that's worth its salt is sports entertainment. That's you're there for the experience. You're there so you can say I was there. AEW doesn't get that. They never do. I mean, I would like to give a staunch comparison. Raw was in Atlantic City yesterday at Boardwalk Hall, which is where AEW held a pay-per-view last year. I think that was the pay-per-view where MJF won the title. I don't remember, one of the times. But when AEW goes to Boardwalk Hall for a pay-per-view, they draw 8,000. WWE went to Boardwalk Hall for a regular ass episode of Raw and drew 11,000. And I guarantee more people can say I was at Raw than will say I was at AEW, whatever the fuck show this was that was in Atlantic City.
Well, we got to end this because unlike Tony Khan, I'm not going to make you stick around my show for longer.
I still got another show to record.
3 hours. And if I ever kept somebody for 6 hours, you have a right to arrest me for kidnapping charges. They should do that with Tony Khan. That's a different story for today. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we always love him on because he just loves tell him like it is. If you don't like it, that's your problem, not his. I give you Booker, wrestler, an all-round shit stir. I give you Joseph J. Alexander, a Full Circle Radio. So, JJ, before I let you go, where can fans check you out at? Where is the YouTube channel, the Odyssey, the X, and what do you have planned for later on this July 4th week?
I need to correct you still because you keep saying I'm a wrestler. I've only wrestled 2 matches. I was a manager.
That's a wrestler.
First and foremost.
Technically, that is a wrestler.
I had 2 matches. It doesn't count. And they were manager versus manager matches. So I don't really count.
It's still a wrestler. That means Tony Khan is like to say, hey, I took a bump. That means I'm a wrestler. So I'm going by Tony Khan logic.
Anyways, yeah. So the YouTube and Odyssey channels, if you're unfamiliar with Odyssey, it's ODYSEE. YouTube and Odyssey, you can find us at Full Circle Radio. We are recording our next episode of Wildcard Cinema tonight. So it'll probably be up the same time as this comes up in the near future, and we will be doing our next poll for our next episode of Cinematic Jackass, which we will be recording next week. I may pull out an episode of White Heat this week. I'm not quite sure yet. 4th of July weekend's always dicey because that's mine and the wife's anniversary. So I may be
happy anniversary
to myself. Yeah, 16 years. But yeah. So yeah, and you can find the X account for the channel is FCR_network. My personal X account is JJ_Alexander. You can also find the channel's Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Full Circle Reloaded. So yeah, that's where you can find all our stuff. And yeah, make sure you like and subscribe because there's always new stuff dropping on the channel.
JJ Alexander, ladies and gentlemen, once again, always on a pleasure to have you on the show. We come back. We got a lot more going on here, only on Last Call. Last Call, the alcohol, only on the Last Call Podcast.com.